third person that I know, and that's how I know that you will be able to do it. That would be against your nature to not finish this particular journey. So know that we are praying for you and we love you and we can't wait to see you again.
I have arrived at the pre-race hotel Airbnb. Quaint place, but cool reception. Nice little welcome sign for me. Some good snacks related to what I would normally eat. A bed, a fridge, everything I need. The shower is amazing. It's amazing seeing the different guests you get in an outhouse. You got a cockroach, some soapsuds, some foreign grain beetles, some field flies, and a spider. So here's where we begin, at the old Capitol building in Frankfurt. It's a serendipitous start. I got the course map last night and found out that my good friend from Chile, who I stayed with on Monday on my way down here, is at mile 33 on the course. So it'll be a short day today relative to some of the others. Well, we finally turned off of the busy highway and are enjoying a nice old highway hike. The sun's coming up, getting nice and warm, but there's a good breeze. Birds chirping. That car driving up there, they stopped and asked me if this was a fundraiser, and I explained the race to them, and they told me there was some pretty country up ahead, and I'm excited for it. They wished me luck, and on they went. Looks like we've got some nice mole mounds popped up over here. A guy in military garb just pulled up and offered me a Gatorade. Wonder if he was part of the group that was at the hotel with it.
Yeah. It was too cool and sunny and dry there. I wanted to come here and enjoy some humidity.
I fail to think about how certain foods behave in the heat. I put a whole bunch of mini Snickers in my pack to eat along the way and was reminded how they just turn to poor mush and melt inside of there. So I got done squeezing those out like a ketchup packet and will not be selecting those again for future food. Gorgeous scenery. Love these bridges. Just past the Laz checkpoint of mile 20. He informed me that I am on course record pace, which is humorous because this is the first time this course has been run by anybody, and so my course record pace would be whatever I'm at. That statue makes me feel so slow right now. Poor chap. He had a begging sign up, so I stopped and asked him if he could use some granola bars or anything, and he asked me to go get him some bottles of water. I don't know where to go to get them, and I don't think I could pull off the walk there and back at this point. But hopefully somebody with the car can help him out. Totally was not expecting the bottle of water request. Hey, Tuck. It's like you're here with me, my friend. Good timing, too. Thanks for the inspiration, buddy. So tempting to pick up one of these. I saw a group of people with their packs on the ground laying under the tree, and I thought they were fellow racers, and then I realized that it was a small homeless group. So I saved myself from insulting them in some way and decided not to film them, but thought it was interesting to see how difficult it is to tell us apart on day one. It's funny. One thing you don't think about is just how puffy your hands get. It gets to the point where I really can't even grip something to open something like a Gatorade bottle. It's 95 with a feels like 102 right now, but I'm a couple miles away from Carlos's place. Thanks for bringing me a water. Was that your idea? Can you wave and say, hello, you're my friend?
Hello, you're my friend.
That is awesome. Carlos, how are you, man?
Hey, you made it!
I made it. Holy cow. Carlos is taking me for a ride in the Stingray. What year is it?
70.
1970 Stingray, cruising through the fields. This is one heck of a cool race break. Now I feel like I'm going fast, unlike when I was walking. Wandering along and came across a water bottle that had fallen in the ditch. And since it was unopened, I just went ahead and drank it. Don't know how long it's been there, but I am always happy to take water that I don't think will quite kill me. It's fun to observe the differences in people. Right now I am walking along a no-shoulder road, as you can see. The rumble strip is not very comfy to walk on, so I try and ride it as close as possible. Walking in that ditch is pretty unwelcoming. So some people lay on the horn and give me grief for being on the road. Other people smile and wave. Other people look bewildered. And then every once in a while, somebody will pull over and say, what y'all doing over here? Where y'all walking to? Is this a fundraiser? Various questions like that. It's kind of fun. And then when I explain what we're doing, I don't think they seem to be satisfied. More shocked, surprised, trying to wrap their brain around it. A nice, pretty weeping wall. Little butterfly waving at me. Approaching a really fancy sign here, telling me to turn left for Hots at the Boone Tunnel. Yep, probably would have missed this without the sign, but kind of cool. This looks a little bit ominous. Check the weather and it has severe T-storms planned for the next little bit. I'm hoping that they hold off until I get to Shaker Village, and hopefully there, if they hit, I'll be able to get a little bit of shelter until either they pass or I can feel comfortable throwing a rain poncho on. I'm all right with rain. Not a big fan of the old lightning though. Also, not a big fan of getting wet feet this early on in the race. That can take a while to recover. Blisters on day 2 is not what I want to start with. Nice reminder that I will be out wandering on Father's Day. What a great way to spend that day. A little friend out on the road to join me. It's kind of cute. Must be a little woodchuck, is my guess. Yep, the storm is picking up. It's going to be quite the ride this afternoon. Just had a racer wave me into a church they were able to get into. They're all sitting around waiting for it to pass. Seemed like a good idea. They told me about tornadoes and hail. And I checked the radar. And if the radar holds true, I'm gonna ride the eye of the storm for probably 3 miles and then probably get some rain, but I might be able to make it to Harrodsburg by then, and then either continue just in some moderate to heavy rain or go inside a restaurant and get some food to eat and be 3 miles ahead of where I would have been. So we'll see if I rolled the dice correctly. Guess that's what you do. You run the probabilities and then you bank on luck. Grace Baptist Church, believe on the Lord, thou shalt be saved. I feel like that is exactly the situation I just experienced. I could have got rallied back there, but other than some crazy wind and continuous rain, I came out pretty good. Super glad that I stopped to analyze the radar, but yeah, life is good. Get me something to eat in here pretty soon. Just got a water bottle handoff from a guy on the highway coming out of Harrodsburg. Slowed down, handed it off to me, wished me luck. Had another one pull over and hand me 2 more, so we got 3 to work through now. This might be more work than it's worth, but man, it is awesome to see some really helpful people that care and want to encourage. That poor guy, I'm not sure what he's doing. I wonder if he broke down somewhere, but he looked mighty parched and torched. And I offered him one of my extra water bottles, and he seemed reluctant to take, but you could see that he really wanted it. And he said, "You sure you got enough?" And I said, "Yep." And he thanked me and was super excited because he was going to have to cross the street to go look for some water. So I guess it worked out well that somebody gave me too many. Enjoying the shade, taking advantage. Just had a cool conversation with that guy in the truck. He was super interested in what we were doing. Cool guy. Loud car, hate the loud cars. Some cool old colleges and mansions. Yeah, I was worried about blisters with the storm, and sure enough, picked up a couple on my feet, so doctored them up, and hopefully they'll perform tomorrow okay. Got an early start today, trying to pull off 60, so it's kind of fun having it be nice and cool without the sun for a little bit. Well, just chatted with a chap who's throwing in the towel. He was justifying it to me and telling me how he's good with it, which I'm sure he is right now. That's the present self talking, but if you consider his past self who got himself down here, I don't think he would have been pleased with it. I'm betting that future self is going to regret it. Always a tough decision to make, though. I just spent almost an hour with one-wheel cart guy chatting. Not by my wishes. He was pulling over for a rest, and I wished him well, and he decided he wanted company more than a rest, so he came along with me, and so then I slowed down so he could get ahead, then he'd slow down. He just really wanted to chat, and most of the time I can do pretty good with the social stuff, but I am rather introverted, and today is a bit of a stressful day, and I just didn't have it in me. So luckily he got the hint. I tried to be nice as long as I could, but whew, that can be quite taxing trying to be social when it's just not in you. When a few people mentioned that it would be good to log some of the experiences I have along the way, I was asking people what kind of things to put in here, and one person's comment was to just try and think of it from somebody else's perspective, because some of the things that would seem interesting to somebody else would be just normal, run-of-the-mill, or mundane to me. And I just realized that that is it. It is the every step. It is the repetitive mundane. There are random crazy things that happen. There are pretty flowers along the way. There are trees that are awesome to see. But it's just the step after step, the same thing in and out, every minute, every hour. 97,000 steps yesterday. Probably be around 127,000 steps today. And every one of them hurts. Every step I feel my right pinky toe pressing into the side of my shoe, because that foot doesn't curve like a normal foot. And that blister I took a picture of yesterday, or took a video of, I feel it every step also. It hurts when I'm not on it, and it hurts when I step on it, just hurts differently. And that's part of the joy. It's just seeing what you can tolerate, what you can take over and over and over and over again without breaking. I've been thinking a lot about the Zahara book that I've been reading to the kids, and how those guys were trudging across the desert sands, starved and dying of thirst. Just skeletons, burnt. I'm putting on sunblock every 2 hours and still getting burnt. I had a gigundo blister on my shin that I forgot to take a picture of because I somehow missed putting sunblock on it. But they didn't have that. And they kept going because they had to. I think that's the interesting part about this race, is I don't have to. I'm here by my own volition, and at any given point, I can pull the plug and say, that's it for me, I'm done. A lot of these people in history didn't have that option. It's interesting to contemplate. I'm going to eat this lovely, dry, instant oatmeal packet. They're actually pretty good. They're light, a little chewy, give you something to do for a while. Ice in my hydration pack so it'll keep my back cool while I walk this afternoon. I just spilled Coke all over my shorts. That could cause some chafing down the road. Hopefully it'll dry out while I eat and won't turn into a sticky mess in my crotch. Just had lunch with Amish father and son pair. They thought maybe I should hope to finish the distance by end of summer. Told them goal was 7 or 8 days, and they seemed a little bit dumbfounded by that. Well, I probably could have planned hitting that hill at a different time of day a lot better if I had any inclination to do so, but looks like I'm going to hit it about 1:30 p.m. with the sun directly above me.
I've seen so many of you guys.
Yeah.
What's going on? What are you doing?
So this is a race. It's called Heart of the Southland.
Okay.
It started at Frankfort, Kentucky,
Okay.
and ends on Sand Mountain in Georgia.
Holy cow.
We didn't know where the start line was when we showed up. We just parked at the finish line, got on a bus, and
And they took you somewhere and you're walking back.
Yep.
So you can get back to your
We
previous
got
goals.
10 days to get back.
How long? When did you start?
This is day 3.
Heart of the Southland?
Yep.
They want me to ask if you like I don't understand that. Would you?
I wouldn't mind. That would be
Okay,
awesome.
well,
Yeah.
We're right there. Yeah, so we saw, like, we would see groups of 3 or 4 yesterday, and then, so we thought, okay, it's over. And
Yep.
then we just saw somebody, and then now you. So we're like, we've got to do this. We've got to
Yeah. If you go to vacationwithoutacar.com, you can see a tracking sheet and all about the race and see how it updates twice a day.
And so you guys have GPS things that you're,
Just our phones to.
how many miles are you walking a day?
I did 32 the first day, 45 yesterday, and I'm aiming for 60 today.
Uphill, all the way.
Yeah, it feels like it.
It would be weird for me to say, would you like a ride? No,
Yeah,
you can't do that.
it would be. Yep, Amish country.
There you go.
Thank you so
Now,
much.
What y'all walking for?
We are having a race from Frankfort, Kentucky to Georgia.
Frankfort, Kentucky. Where you walking? Where'd you come from?
I'm from Minnesota.
You been walking from Minnesota?
No, we started in Frankfort.
Okay.
Well, so we met in Georgia at the finish line. We didn't know where the start line was, and they bussed us up to Frankfort at the old Capitol and said go. And there's about 81 of us that started off.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Be careful, okay?
I will.
You
Hey,
have
thanks
to
for
get out.
this. I
You're welcome.
appreciate it. What's your name?
David?
David. Good to meet you. I'm Rob. Throwing down a pizza in celebration of being at 44 miles of my 62 day, and about to toss this into a sack to carry along with me once I eat a couple pieces. I got weird looks, but that's how it's gonna roll. Fun walking along and seeing the fireflies. Well, this is fun and exciting. About a mile and a half out from my Airbnb, and I came across a guy who's in pretty rough shape, so I invited him to join me. I've got apparently 8 beds in there and just me, so seems fortuitous that we crossed paths when we did. I'll see if he takes me up on it. I kept plugging because I don't have time to wait for him to get up the energy to get there. He was going to go look for a picnic table or park bench or something at the dam. So hopefully this is a better option for him, and hopefully it doesn't interfere with my sleep. That is a massive blister. Yep, that sucks. Random water bottle? I think I will. Last night the cabin didn't have any running water to wash up. Also didn't have sheets and blankets. I messaged the host, and luckily she sent me to another cabin, the Roughing It one, and they had blankets and sheets in there. She hadn't cleaned up after the last people, so I just slept on it anyway. But no running water there either. And it wasn't until morning that I found the bathrooms. I actually had washer and dryer too, but at that point it was too late to wash, because then I would have been either sitting there for 2 hours for a wash and dry cycle, or doing a wash in the sink and then putting on wet clothes, which is a definite recipe for chafing instead of risking a little bit of a rash developing. I'm hoping that if I get everything washed thoroughly tonight and take a good shower, that I'll be all right. Yeah, we'll find out. Well, happy Father's Day. Today it's a nice, beautiful hike up hills and down hills. Well, the sign got me excited. It's 1 o'clock and I haven't had anything to eat. Then as I came up to it, I realized it is not even close to open for business. So probably have about 6 more miles until my next opportunity for some food. The store was closed, but I did enjoy that rocking chair for a few minutes. Still 9 miles out from destination, and I am clean out of water and have not peed in several hours, so things are not looking good. Things are cramping up. I was banking on finding some water. First fountain, no good. Bathrooms, little spritz thing that would take forever. Luckily, little fountain came through for me. I was stocked with enough water to get me to destination. Lucked out. Oh man, about 3 miles out from Jamestown. Lost track of the road. Trying to look at the map, make sure I was on the right track. Stepped on the edge, rolled my ankle, went down pretty hard. That hurt. Ouch. It's amazing what the mind will do. Going up that hill outside of Jamestown, I didn't know if I could make it. When I was freezing down in the river bottoms, I considered pulling out my parka or calling it quits. Almost talked myself out of continuing so many times. And now I'm a mile and a half away from destination, and suddenly the pain isn't so bad and my brain is focused on that finish line, even though it's just today's finish line. Well, last night I decided to be ahead of the game and have all my water filled up. And when I woke up this morning, I found out that one of my soft flasks is overly leaky, which I kind of suspected yesterday, but just was not with it enough to piece everything together. So it ran all over my socks, which combined with yesterday not having a place to wash them and having to wash both last night, that meant I got to put on wet socks this morning. So the good news is last night was the first time I didn't have to pop a blister that's larger than a normal sized toe. Bad news is not much of a chance of that happening today. Well, I was excited for a little hometown cafe with some Bluebell ice cream, but they're closed. Go figure. How about Smith's Grocery? There's a couple of cars there, but I think they might be from the auto sales place. It's not looking too promising. It's ironic. One of the reasons I wanted to do this race again was or a similar race to Vol State, was to experience the restaurants, cafes, shops, all those little things that I passed along the way that were closed in the middle of the night. Turns out they're all closed during the day too, and I end up eating at gas stations anyway. A little bit different way to experience the disappointment, but wasn't missing out on much. It is cool to know that I can do this in the sun and the heat though. That's a nice little prove to myself element. So this awesome gal, what's your name?
Amanda.
Amanda just hooked me up with so much hydration and food, made me lunch on the way. So thank you, Amanda. You're a lifesaver and an angel. One of the challenges is figuring out timing on food. You can't always get food when you want. Came across a Subway and figured I better do that because I've been having bad luck today with restaurants I pre-picked out. And yeah, luckily I have the sandwich. It's a soggy mess now, but still tastes good. And yes, the other diner I was aiming for looked to be defunct as well. Sometimes even when it's not super late, you just get these nice serene moments where no cars are around. Hear the birds, the insects. Just lovely. Just had a guy who came and offered me a ride into town. He said he was getting home late anyway, but he felt bad for me. He said he saw several of us out here walking and said he would stay up late and take me wherever I needed to go just because he felt bad. So explained what we were doing and he thought it was pretty cool. I just tripped on some kind of upcropping from the road to a inlet to a store in the dark. And, one of those quick steps to try and save yourself, but it was probably about 15 of them. Oh, that hurt so bad. I'm not sure if the tripping or the really hard steps hurt more, but I thought I was gonna eat concrete hard. Luckily, I saved it. I might have jammed my ankle doing it. This is cool. Good little pick-me-up before I go down. Good time to restock and refuel. I have been on this 7.4% grade for over 2 miles, and it is destroying my feet and legs. I've tried walking several different ways, tried jogging. I think I'm finally about to the bottom, but holy cow, I had to stop and brake twice going down. At one point I stopped and talked to a guy who was a ball skater. He did it twice, and I had a good chat with him. He was riding his bike up it. That looks like a struggle and a half. I think I see the bottom, and that is super thrilling. Holy cow. This thing has just been going forever. Finally. Cool little bonfire going. Today was going to be another 50-mile day and possibly tee up a really long finish day. That's not going to happen tomorrow. This is a struggle bus of a day. I was cruising early on, which I had to if I wanted to be able to complete the 50 in a reasonable time, as in even make it there before checkout time. See, I was really pushing to stay on my 3-mile-per-hour pace. Probably pushed a little bit hard. I had a long downhill that really took a lot out of me, but I was doing all right up until, just a little bit ago. Now everything seems to be falling apart. I got a giant rash in my butt crack that is just really sore, so I stopped to lube it up a little bit. And then going to get up from it felt darn near impossible. The miles are not coming together very quickly at this point, and I'm still probably 2.5, 3 hours out from my hotel, if I can keep on pace, but I don't know. My feet hurt really bad. Got a really sore spot in my hip flexor and groin. Ab. Ooh. Anyway, highs and lows. I'm pretty excited about my suite that I got. I was really just looking for a place to stay, but this will work. The best part about it is this super awesome roller chair. So I am just going to wheel myself around wherever I need to go while I'm in here. No walking for me. That was a rough day. Holy cow. This might be the coolest thing that happened. every day is a race of just taking care of chores. So when I get in, I plug in my watch, get my status recorded, shower and wash my clothes in the shower with me, get them hung up to dry so hopefully they're dry in the morning, and then refill my water and brush my teeth, eat if I need to, get stuff set up. Tonight I'm filling up the tub with cold water so I can do a quasi ice bath, just something to get some of the swelling down. If you look at my feet, calves, and ankles, they are just really puffy and totally swollen. So yeah, hopefully that'll reduce pain, allow me to get to sleep. Some gal named Donna just gave me a water bottle. It was a nice needed pick-me-up this morning. Some people have the timing. Donna had the timing today to brighten my day. And then there are certain people that know the right combo of help and shut-upness to help somebody when they're struggling. Some people want to say too much or say things that don't make sense. But then there's a handful of people that know just a little simple quote a day from the right philosopher. And obviously this is referring to people that know me, not just any person in general. I don't think there's any right answer for everyone. It's you really know that person and what they need and how much you can meddle and interfere before you just feel like before they feel like they're getting smothered. It's interesting to see which people can naturally just sense that balance and hit it right on the nose almost every time.
Hey babe, just wanted to leave you a message saying you're doing amazing and I love you so much, and we are so proud of you.
These just get super emotional. It doesn't take
here
much
is
to
Tucker, not Tucker, Avery and Cooper to say the same thing.
Nothing real crazy, just well wishes and kind of hit a little bit of low. I know I'm close to the end.
All right, we hope you have a great day.
It's definitely doable.
Keep us posted on how it's going for you.
Could
Love you. Bye.
finish this mansion my biggest day today, but I had much too late of a start for that. Worst case scenario, I could eke out 16 miles a day for 4 days and still finish. So on that front, logically, it seems very doable. Trying to look at it all together though, and how I felt yesterday doesn't seem so doable. Just kind of crazy how that works out and goes in there. I thought about not recording the crying, but it's such a part of ultra running for me. Just these crazy emotional swings that come. I think that's part of the interesting element of it, is just how much you can experience. The lower the lows, the higher the highs can be, and vice versa. So best to document it, even if I never share it with anyone. River crossing before I head into what I think are going to be some pretty nutty hills, some annoying switchbacks that I think will take me up and over these. This mountain has been a beast, but we're approaching the top, so I think there's a little more to climb, but just a little rise and fall seems to be the peak right here. So yeah, there we go. No way am I going down to that lookout, but I'll take this. Yay! And it is amazing how luck can swing one way or another. I was starting to wonder if I was going to run out of water before I found the next town. And it has been so muggy, I can't even keep sunscreen on because it just runs off like a river with my sweat. And then I came across that first Road Angel station, and then within a quarter mile I found another, and then a quarter mile up the road a gal pulled over in a truck and handed me a Gatorade and Special K protein bar. And now we got dogs chasing me. That's a Tennessee thing for sure. As long as you watch them. Beat it! And you tend to be fine. Stupid dogs. This old trail has been a nice change of pace. It's a little uneven, but man, sure beats being on pavement for days on end. Hope they don't mind, but I'm a big fan of this chair just sitting out here for me to use in the shade. The ultra game can definitely be a game of stress management. Obviously, a lot of stress on the body physically, but even just the mental stress of picking a destination and saying, I must get there by this point, or I'm out my hotel and I don't have a place to stay. Just those time constraints, like when you're committed to them, those can be stresses that'll get you there. I mean, my body did some crazy things to get me to some of my milestones. Maybe they weren't the best decisions. Maybe the stress load took more out of me than some other decision would have, but it's impressive to see what the body will do to reach those. But then there's other things where, like my family text thread, I put a rule on there that if they respond to any of my updates, not happening, no more updates. And it's happened a couple of times, and I know they just care and want to show support, but sometimes those little things just are more stress than a person can handle in a certain situation. Eating too much, not getting enough liquid, drinking too much, all those little stresses just add up. Add to that stress the sun. I have sunburns in the weirdest places and just battling them. I don't like this narrow shoulder to walk on. I'm going to trust drivers because I need the shade. Every bit of shade counts right now. A crispy chicken place. I thought it would be a sit-down restaurant, but it is a gas station grab and go, so I'm just going to sit on the floor and eat it. And then hopefully it'll cool off enough I can apply some block before I go back out. This is a gorgeous little road. I'm glad I caught it at the time I did. I don't know, actually might have been nice to hit this in the afternoon with the canopy cover like it is, but it is quite lovely right now as well. This road is going to demolish me, guaranteed. Yep, this downhill is going on forever like that uphill was at the start of the day. It is fun to listen to the cicadas though. Fun little tunnel to hit going into Chattanooga at about 10 p.m. Also a fan of this elevated walkway. It's kind of cool to be up above the cars a little bit. Front desk gal messed up my keys, so I had to walk across the hotel the opposite end, find out my key didn't work, and then walk back to get a new one. But another roller chair and hardwood floors. I could totally get used to this. I think this should be a thing everywhere. Big fan of it. I also messed up my protein shakes that I like to have at night, and I accidentally got the cafe latte ones, which that's enough caffeine that I would never sleep at night if I drank any of those. So luckily my wife DoorDashed some to me. My feet and calves are pretty swollen. I don't think you can tell very well, but the right one is got some weird coloration going on and is more swollen than the other. There's some weird coloration going on just in general from the burning and swelling, but hoping they survive one more day without issue. As I was packing my things for the last day, I thought of a couple motivations to leave some things behind. The old burning the ship strategy to make sure this is my last day and to just make things as light as possible, but I think I got to take a different perspective on this one, that if something happens and I need to take another day to get there, that I'd much rather have an extra day added onto the finish than to quit. So I spent the time washing my socks last night, packed my socks, packed my extra toothbrush. I've actually come to like that toothbrush. Yeah. I also saw a big old giant American cockroach belly up on my bathroom floor this morning. I was going to video him, but my phone was on the opposite side of the hotel, and I was not going to walk over there and grab it and walk back over just for that. Every step matters at this point. When I finish, I think I will buy me a roller chair and use it for the next week. Everywhere I go, no steps. Make my kids carry me around piggyback. Sing that Faith Hill song to them the whole time. Days, by their name, have become meaningless. I don't know what Sunday is or Monday is. Whenever I talk to Carrie, she keeps referencing Wednesday this or Friday that, and I can't do it. I can't figure out what day she's talking about. I can't relate to things. I even tried last night. I felt like I was kind of out of that, and I was still off on the days. I was wrong, and I just can't get my brain to know what it is. And those names just mean nothing. Every day just had one goal, and that was to survive whatever the challenge was for the day. Sometimes that was 62 miles. Sometimes that was 32 miles and no running to conserve damaged loads. Whatever it was, each day had a significant purpose that took my entire focus, so much so that my brain replaced something that is almost innate to me, which is the meaning that is attached by the day of the week. I thought that was interesting to consider, just how much neuroplasticity there is and how quickly our brain will work to adjust to where we need to go if it understands and believes why we need to do it and how it all relates. I'm sure a couple of days back in the real world, I'll be back on the weekend action, but for right now, my brain doesn't know it. It's not something that I'm attempting to do. It just simply can't compute it. This might be one of the easiest paths that I've been on the whole time. I know I'm gonna get nailed with some hills later on today, but I think those will mostly be some big uphills, especially right at the end. Very little for steep downhill, if I can remember most of it. I think I'll get some rollers on the backside of Chattanooga, but I'm okay with that. See the houses up on top of the hill. I'm pretty sure that those were the houses I came out of as I started down W Road. Glad I do not have that on the docket for today. This guy jogged past me, I thought, any given day, I would consider that slow. Today, that is impossibly fast. things can change so quickly for us, depending on the path that we choose. The options available to us are always just what we have. Maybe I'll have to challenge Carrie to a race. She can feel awesome by just totally smoking me tomorrow when I can barely pull off a 4 mile per hour run. Next time I'm able to run a 6.5 minute pace or a 6 minute pace for an extended period of time, or even hit that period. It'll be interesting to reflect back on not being able to hit that. I try and sit every hour on the hour for at least a minute or so. Usually that's on the ground or some really awkward spot. This is the first time I have come across a perfect, easy to sit down on, easy to get up from, in the shade spot. It only took me 297 miles to find it. The lads picked a beautiful ending, that's for sure. I got a little confused back there. The road looked like it was ending just as someone's driveway. There was an option up to the left, but a little ways up it said private road, keep out, and I doubted I was supposed to go on it. So anyway, found this beauty and it's showing me is on track, so I'll keep following it. It's interesting how quickly the road angels set up on this, because people wouldn't really have a way of knowing ahead of time. They would have to talk to runners that came through. I wasn't overly surprised early on when I was way back. I think I was over 50th place in day 1 and 2. Possibly even upwards of 70s. I didn't really look at that point. But over the last few days, I've been leapfrogging with some people, but really hovering around those teen spots. And yeah, so considering they'd have to talk to one of those runners, some of them going at night, just there's no way they would have hit all of them. And then to get inspired to set something up and have time to do it, it's kind of crazy what can happen just spontaneously like that. I decided on Wendy's for breakfast. Dining room is closed. So I walked through the drive-thru. Took a little more time than I wanted. Also, I was really banking on that toilet. So I'm gonna hope I can get into this Exxon and use their toilet. Circle K lady told me that they're not an eat-in place, so I can't sit on the floor there. So I'm occupying their little stand outside and sitting here. I also got to use their bathroom, so I win there and filled my hydration pack with ice. The gal who wouldn't let me eat in there came out and joined me. She had a little smoke break and talked to me about her toe that she lost from diabetes and some magic herb for avoiding cramping that I don't recall. So she also talked to me about her thoughts on eating and overweightness, and sometimes things just conspire against you to slow you down. I was cruising along and then bum started itching. Thought it'd go away. After 5 minutes of it, figure I better stop and address it. So I spent time doctoring that area up, and then just a short while later, somehow a rock kicked up and landed down in my shoe. I thought, I can deal with that for a while. Then I thought better of it and stopped and pulled it out. This is the point where it's easy to make bad decisions and just push through, and it'd be dumb to let some little thing ruin the rest of the race. But man, when you're talking less than a marathon, Like most of those things you could just deal with, but yeah, not when I'm going this slow and I've gone this far and things are at the point of breaking at any point. So extreme caution is the name of the game. Hello, little turtle. At least there's something I'm faster than. A concerned gentleman just told me that I picked the wrong day for this. It's supposed to be 94 or 95. It's entertaining just how much I would have to explain to have that conversation, but clearly in 99% of people's minds, this is not something that would even occur to them that I'm doing. It's probably thinking I'm just out for a couple hour hike and jog. On day 1 or 2, I poked myself or scratched myself on something. It should have just been something that healed up right away and maybe a day or 2 would be gone. But I think that goes to show just how much the body can adjust where it dedicates resources. I think it just threw a blister around it to hold on to it and save it until it has time to tend to it, and taking care of the most critical items first. That guy just hooked me up with 4 bottles of water, saw me sit down and got worried about me. He's actually sitting down to apply some lube, but this is a good thing. I didn't think I'd hit any road angels today, but I hit one when I needed it because it's a long ways out until I still got another 3 miles till my lunch stop, so it's a long ways. I just lost 10 minutes doing some self-care, getting some rest, making sure, well, I got that water, I got my crack lubed up, I let things dry off so I could get a good application of sunscreen. I'm tired of the burns and I could do without further blistering. But start doing the math and it's super easy to catastrophize and say, oh, 10 minutes here, I lost 5 minutes back there. And suddenly I'm thinking that maybe I won't finish today, which there's no reason that would logically make sense. A few things here and there doesn't mean things will continue to happen. They might, but I don't need to turn things into a catastrophe that haven't. I decided for my last meal before finish, I would stop at Succotash. I picked it out ahead of time. It's kind of the last restaurant before the final stretch, so I got about a half marathon to go, and I'm sitting here feeling really stressed about the amount of time it's taking, but I think it's good to rest and good to finish strong, so, and good to have a little victory meal. It's just weird how the racing mentality gets into you, even though it really doesn't matter whether I finish an hour later or earlier or what position I finish, because that's never what it was about. Oh yeah, totally worth it. While I was in there eating that nice little pick-me-up meal, it really did a lot for rejuvenating my spirits. I went in and took my shoes off, refilled my water, used the bathroom, applied sunscreen while I wasn't all sweaty, which should help a ton. Lubed up the chafing spots. Anyway, there were a couple of guys that came in and were trying to figure out why people were going every which direction and they're all over the place, and they asked where I was going and I told them, and they said, well, the others, they're over going up Signal Mountain. And they asked if I had done that, and I said, well, I had to find out where Signal Mountain was because I couldn't remember. So anyway, we figured that out, and then they connected the dots, in their mind just how far the race was and how big of a spread there was from the trailer to people working on finishing right now. And that is one thing as I finish, I'm going to feel really bad for everybody that's still out there plugging away. I know they still have the miles to do, but just the time, the days out there. Part of it enjoying it, part of it suffering, but the suffering just tends to stand out once I finish. I just made the first call of 2, notifying finish line that I'm approaching. They have to have lots of heads up because there's a lot of coordination between people quitting and people finishing and making sure they have buses to take people to their cars or the hotel afterwards. So that's exciting. A couple of thoughts I've had while I've been plugging away. I remember a guy, we were leaving the hotel, I was talking to him kind of in the back of the pack after the race just started, and he was asking me where the first place was to get water, which, hopefully he could figure that out as he went, but he was complaining about the taste of the water at the hotel. I almost got hit by a car, holy cow. There's no shoulder here. Yeah, I wonder if he made it. It doesn't seem overly likely, because if you're hung up on the flavor of water, that is a very minor thing. Second thing, systems. I'm very much a systems person, so as I go every other hour, I have processes that I go through. I sit down on the even hours and reapply sunblock, rest for a sec, and then I eat something 100 to 300 calories depending on what I'm feeling. On the odd hours, I check in with work, see if there's anything that needs immediate attention, send an update to Carrie so she knows where I'm at. Also sit down and break. Also, I try and keep track of how often I'm peeing. Hopefully I'm hitting every hour during the heat of the day. I don't get too concerned if I'm down to every other hour. If it starts getting to 3 or 4 hours between, then I get pretty concerned. Today's been pretty good. Yesterday was a little rough. But I wonder if, I haven't talked to a lot of people, but if that's a thing that people do if you're going to be an ultra runner, or if that's a thing that I do because I like systems and that's how my brain works. Maybe there's a little of both. Well, I'm on the last flat stretch before I start the 6-mile climb up to the top of Sand Mountain. So, enjoying the view, getting scorched by the sun. Well, I have started up 377 South. It's gonna be a long climb. Kind of hoping that I get there before dark. I got there long after dark when I did Vol State. It'd be cool to see it in the light or even catch it right at sunset, but more important is just finishing whole. It's hard to describe just how steep this is. I'm a pretty good climber. Granted, I'm not really strong right now in any way, shape, or form in regards to running and walking, but I don't know if I'm even moving at 2 miles an hour going up this. I've been going up for 30 minutes. I'm afraid to look and see if I've made a mile yet. Just gonna wait till my break at 15 more minutes and see if I've hit that first mile mark yet. If I have, that'll be a victory. I do remember from last time that I hit this hill and thought I could cruise it, since I had been doing a lot of incline hiking. At that time, I was assuming it'd be pretty close to a 15% pace, and so I took off at about a 4 mile per hour pace. I don't remember how far I made it, but I torched out pretty dang quickly and had to stop and just let my quads stop burning, and then I was in the pain cave the rest of the time. So this time I started at a nice easy pace and just taking whatever feels good for each step. Well, good is a relative term. My right hip is pinching with every step. More of this hill still going. I just talked to 2 finishers that were driving down. They were telling me I'm almost there, which, you know, I'd say that when somebody's crossing that straight over by the lakes and the sun's blazing, because relatively speaking, it's true. But I asked him when the last time was they slept a full night, and he said he couldn't remember. It's amazing to me, just, I mean, obviously they finished before me, but not by a ton. I slept a full night every night. Makes a big difference when your body can rejuvenate. Well, I did it. I found the top. Now to just keep on going through the last handful of miles. Yeah, it was a false summit. You'd think I'd stop falling for those, but I'm a sucker for them. The 1 mile to go sign. Laz is infamous for that. I'm pretty sure that it's a little bit more than a mile. The best part about this is the field we parked in. So the way he sets it up is, as you come in, you run right by your vehicle. I remember when I did Vol State, it was super tempting to just pack it in and hop in my truck and say, that's good enough. But it's different knowing that's the case now. And the finish line is really cool. So I'm excited for that. And there's the red pickup that's waiting for me, straight across from the sign that's saying to turn left. So yeah, kind of funny. Would have been fun to throw a shirt and tie in there and then change my clothes before I went in. It is splendid being on another one more mile instead of hard pavement. This is it, 1 mile to go. Trust me. This is a really pretty area to be finishing the race in. Cool sounds, lovely canopy, nice and cool. Another one.
Right on down to the little knob at the end of the fence. Stay on this side of the fence.
Good call. Right there.
Good.
Woo!